3 painful truths you must accept to be mentally free. A Stoic perspective. What I learned the hard way, and why facing these 3 truths might finally set you free. It took me years to understand what I'm about to share with you. Not because the truths were hidden, but because I didn't want to face them. I tried everything else first. I read the books, chased productivity, set goals, traveled, meditated, even burned out. I thought freedom meant fixing life on the outside. But no matter how much I achieved, I kept coming back to the same questions. Why do I still feel stuck? Why do I carry this quiet weight in my chest, even when things are going well? And what does it actually mean to be free? In here, the answers didn't come all at once. They came slowly, in hard conversations, quiet moments, nights I couldn't sleep, mornings I didn't want to get up, pages of a journal I didn't show anyone. And from those moments came these 3 truths. They're not comfortable, but they are liberating. And if you're willing to face them, they might just change the way you see your life. Not temporarily, but deeply. Let's begin. Painful truth number 1. You are not in control, and you never were. It's one of the hardest truths to accept. We're not in control, not of the weather, not of how others feel about us, not of traffic, illness, or whether tomorrow will be better than today. And yet, most of our suffering begins the moment we forget this. Let me tell you how I learned it. It was a gray Tuesday morning in Brooklyn. I had my day planned down to the hour: coffee, work, write, no distractions. And then, one message. Can you talk? It's urgent. And just like that, everything I'd prepared unraveled. My heart sank. There was that sharp sting of helplessness again, the same one I'd felt hundreds of times before, whenever life decided not to go my way. I dropped everything. I found myself walking quickly, half in the rain, half in my head, to a hospital lobby. My friend was already there, eyes puffy, silent. Her father had collapsed that morning, and we didn't know what would happen. For hours, we just sat, no comforting words, just plastic chairs, fluorescent lights, and the strange quiet of people who are all waiting for something they can't control. I used to fight it, complain, resist, blame, but that never helped. It only left me more exhausted, more bitter. That's when it hit me. We spend so much of life fighting reality, arguing with it, wishing things had gone differently, trying to fix, predict, or explain every little thing that isn't going our way. Marcus Aurelius said, "You have power over your mind, not outside events." But we don't live that way. We act like we can bend the world to our will. And when we can't, we panic, complain, blame, shut down. Here's the truth I finally saw that day. Control is an illusion. The more we cling to it, the more we suffer. Because reality doesn't care about our plans. It moves, with or without our permission. So how do you find peace? The Stoics would say, by letting go, not in a passive way, but in a wise, deliberate, powerful way. Letting go doesn't mean giving up. It means shifting your energy from what you can't change to what you can. You can't control the rain, but you can bring an umbrella. You can't control other people's moods, but you can choose patience, clarity, and boundaries. You can't control the outcome, but you can always control your presence. In that hospital waiting room, I couldn't heal her father. I couldn't promise anything. but I could be there, fully, quietly, truly. That's what the Stoics mean by inner freedom. Not a life without storms, but a calm center within the storm. Seneca wrote, "The wise man regards the reason for all things, not the outcome." You start to reclaim your peace not when things are perfect, but when you stop needing them to be. And when I left the hospital that day, I didn't feel heroic, but I felt lighter because I wasn't trying to carry what wasn't mine. That morning, I finally understood what they meant. I asked, what does this moment require of me now? And the answer was simple: acceptance. Not passive resignation, but calm, clear-headed presence. You're not in control, and that's not a weakness. It's a truth that can free you, if you're willing to let go of the illusion of control. Because the truth is, most of the suffering we feel doesn't come from what's happening, but from our resistance to it. So here's how I've been trying to live this truth, just for today. When plans fall apart, I breathe instead of blame. When someone interrupts me, I pause instead of react. When I face uncertainty, I meet it like a Stoic, with steadiness, not fear. It's not easy, and I don't always get it right, but in those small moments of surrender, there's peace. Letting go doesn't mean giving up. It means finally seeing reality and choosing to respond to it with wisdom. Marcus Aurelius once wrote, "The obstacle becomes the way." So the next time life doesn't go as planned, remember, that's not the moment to break down. It's the moment to wake up. Painful truth number 2, you will lose people. It wasn't a fight. There were no screaming matches, no dramatic endings, just a slow, quiet drift between two people who once believed they'd never be apart. I remember the day clearly. A gray Tuesday in late autumn. We sat in a small coffee shop in Brooklyn. The same one we used to laugh in, dream in, plan a whole future in. But that day, there was silence between us. A tired kind of silence. One that had been building for months. She stirred her coffee, eyes lowered. I looked out the window, pretending to notice the rain, but I felt it. That deep ache in your chest when something beautiful is slipping through your fingers. She finally said, "I don't think we're growing together anymore." And I didn't argue, because the truth is, I felt it too. But part of me still wanted to hold on, to believe that love alone was enough. But the Stoics reminded me otherwise. Seneca wrote, "What need is there to weep over parts of life? The whole of it calls for tears." At first, that quote shattered me, but slowly, I began to understand. Loss is not an interruption of life. Loss is life. We are not guaranteed to keep the people we love, no matter how deeply we feel. And that doesn't mean the love was fake. It means it was real, but it belonged to a season. Because love, true love, is not about clinging. It's about cherishing, knowing that nothing is promised. I look back now and realize I didn't lose that person the moment they left. I lost them slowly. In the missed calls, the growing silences, the small ways we stop showing up. Loss isn't always sudden. Sometimes it's a quiet fade you didn't want to admit was happening. Epictetus once said, "Never say about anything, 'I have lost it, but I have given it back.'" That quote stayed with me, because maybe I didn't lose her. Maybe I just had the privilege of walking beside her for a while, until our paths gently split. There's a kind of grief that comes not from betrayal or tragedy, but from loving someone with your whole heart and still having to let them go. And it hurts, but it also frees you. Because once you accept that no one truly belongs to you, You stop trying to possess people. You start appreciating them more deeply while they're still beside you. The Stoics weren't trying to make us cold. They were trying to make us awake. Awake to the fact that everyone we love is a temporary gift, and that love is not proven by how tightly we hold on, but by how graciously we let go. So yes, you will lose people, not because you weren't enough, but because life moves, people change, and even love evolves. But if you learn to let go without bitterness, to remember without regret, to love without needing to own, that is when you'll begin to feel what real freedom is. Because once you stop fearing the end, you start loving more honestly. You stop taking people for granted. You stop holding back kind words. You start saying, "I love you," without waiting for the perfect moment. This is how I practice it now. When I'm with someone, I try to be with them. Fully, no phone, no half listening. When I feel appreciation, I say it, even if it feels awkward. And when someone drifts, I don't chase or cling. I honor what we had. Then I let go. Seneca said, "You must not think a man has lived long because he has white hairs and wrinkles. He has not lived long, just existed long." Maybe the same is true for relationships. It's not about how long they lasted. It's about how present we were when they did. You will lose people, friends, lovers, even family. Not because you did something wrong, but because life moves and we're all just trying to find our way. But if you can love while knowing it will end, that's not weakness. That's real strength. That's freedom. Painful truth number 3, no one is coming to save you. There was a time in my life when I thought things would just work out, that someday someone or something would come along and lift me out of the mess I was in. I thought it would be my job, or my partner, or a mentor, or maybe just time itself, as if enough years would magically heal the pain I never faced. It was a rainy evening in Brooklyn. I remember the exact sound of water hitting the fire escape, the flickering yellow light in the corner of my tiny apartment, and the weight of silence that felt heavier than noise. I sat alone on the edge of my bed, staring at my phone. No calls, no messages, just the dull glow of notifications that didn't matter. I had just gone through a quiet breakup, the kind that doesn't end in shouting or doors slammed, just distance, a slow goodbye stretched over weeks. We both wanted to be saved by love, but neither of us could save ourselves. That night, something inside me collapsed. Not dramatically, just truthfully. I realized I had been waiting for years, waiting for the right partner to finally complete me, waiting for the right mentor to show me the path, waiting for the right wave of motivation to pull me out of the hole. But no one was coming, waiting for a moment that never came, waiting for someone who was never obligated to show up, waiting for life to rescue me from life. That's when I remembered a line from Marcus Aurelius. "Don't hope that events will turn out the way you want, but welcome events in whichever way they happen." And here's the truth I learned too late. No one is obligated to fix your life, not even the people who love you. No one is coming to live your life for you. No one else knows the weight in your chest when you wake up. No one else hears the voice in your head when it says you're falling behind. It's not because they don't care. It's because they can't, because this is your path. You are the only person with access to your inner world, the only one who can hear your thoughts, feel your fears, or push your body into action when everything in you wants to give up. I had built my whole identity on hope, not the kind that inspires action, but the kind that delays it, the kind that says, maybe next month I'll feel better. Maybe when I find the right person, I'll be whole. Maybe after this hard season, life will begin. But that kind of hope is dangerous. It looks like patience, but it's just avoidance in disguise. The Stoics never said, be patient and wait. They said, act. Prepare yourself for what is within your control. Accept what isn't, but never sit still, expecting life to move you forward. Seneca said, life is long if you know how to use it. But no one teaches us how to use it. We're taught how to chase grades, jobs, partners, not how to sit with ourselves, not how to stand up alone, not how to stop being a victim in the story we're writing. And I'll admit, there are lessons I wish I had learned earlier. I wish I had stopped blaming my parents, stopped waiting for the perfect timing, stopped hoping my sadness would be noticed and fixed by someone else. But here's what Stoicism gave me. It didn't fix my life. It showed me that I was the one holding the pen. And so now, when I wake up in the morning, I don't ask, who will help me? I ask, what can I carry today? Because that's freedom, not ease, not rescue, but ownership. So if you're still waiting for someone to apologize, to choose you, to notice your struggle, stop, choose yourself, forgive yourself, notice your own pain, and sit with it. Like a Stoic sits in silence, not to run, but to grow. You are not weak because no one came. You are powerful because you stayed. That night in the apartment, I didn't have an epiphany. I didn't get a call. I didn't suddenly feel better. I just stood up and washed my face and made tea and whispered, no one is coming, but I'm still here. That was the beginning of my freedom. And if you're watching this now and still hoping someone will rescue you, I want to tell you something I wish someone had told me. You are not broken. You're just waiting for someone to do what only you can. So stop waiting, take back the pen, write your story like the Stoics did, with grit, with grace, with your own two hands. So now you know 3 painful truths that most people spend a lifetime avoiding. But once you face them, really face them, something shifts. Not outside, but inside. You stop clinging, you stop waiting, you begin living. Because freedom isn't the absence of pain, it's the presence of clarity. And no philosophy has ever taught me that more clearly than Stoicism. I didn't learn these truths from books alone. I learned them from loss, silence, and days I thought would break me. And if they helped me, they might just help you too. If this video meant something to you, if it stirred something real, I invite you to subscribe, not just to this channel, but to a life lived more honestly, more courageously, more like someone who refuses to sleepwalk through it. Leave a comment below. Tell me, which truth hits you the hardest? And if you know someone who needs to hear this, someone who's been waiting for something that isn't coming, send this to them. Maybe this is the reminder they didn't know they needed. Because in the end, no one is coming to save us. But the moment we stop waiting, we start becoming someone worth saving.